This year, Britain will spend nearly £2.5 billion on over-the-counter health products.
1 in 4 people now self-diagnose rather than visit a doctor like me.
More of us than ever before are turning to the high street and online for our health needs. So, as a journalist and a doctor, we want to find out whether the price we pay for good health is money well spent. I've teamed up with NHS Dr. Ranj to find out if the products we buy from our medicine cabinet staples
Roll up!
to our more embarrassing health buys
You don't take all these.
are worth our hard-earned cash.
Would you be willing to pay more money now?
And which are a total waste of money.
That's a 264% markup.
We'll be your guinea pigs as we put the latest products through their paces. It's like having a tiny electric shock.
How are you supposed to get your poo into that?
Reveal the nation's health spending secrets.
I've come up with £9,000.
When you're addicted to something, you will do whatever it takes to get them.
And share some smart spending tips.
I had a look at your supplements. You're just creating expensive wee, really.
This is Save Money, Good Health. We are in the midst of the dreaded cold and flu season. As a nation, we spend £475 million treating it. So coming up tonight, Dr. Ranj is going to help us beat the winter bugs without having to spend a fortune.
Hopefully dishing out some useful advice and saving some money.
We buy vitamin supplements to keep the bugs at bay, but could the 350 million quid we splurge on them come at a cost to our health as well as our wallets?
Excessive supplementation of vitamin A can increase the risk of osteoporosis.
And we'll ask whether probiotics can help stave off colds and flu. If you wanted 20 trillion, you'd have to take 1 trillion mils. That's a lot of sauerkraut.
Yeah. We are slap bang in the middle of the cold and flu season. If you've been suffering, your basket might look a little like this, and it can cost a fortune. So tonight, we're putting coughs and colds under the microscope.
I was that ill that I literally could not get out of bed, ached from head to toe. It's mostly the cough that's been the problem. It sort of gets stuck on your chest.
Cold, running nose,
Headache,
groggy overall,
snotty nose,
sneezing, coughing,
makes you quite tired.
and obviously the chest.
We're all suffering so badly, the country will lose around £3 billion in days off sick this year.
I've had a week off work that I don't get paid for.
I was off work ill with it, so it's very frustrating, and it obviously it's financially makes it difficult.
So it's a cold and flu bout like no other. But we can help you save money easing your symptoms. Starting with the winter cough.
Now, the headlines have been full of this 3-week cough. Everybody's had it. You've had it.
Yep.
I've had it. Even the Queen's had it. Why is it happening?
Unfortunately, this year there is a particularly aggressive type of virus called an adenovirus, and we think that's what's causing these horrible symptoms that people are getting, and that's what's causing these prolonged symptoms. If you choose to use cough mixture, there are simple ways to save money. You don't need to buy pricey brands. It's all about the same active ingredients. First up, those chesty coughs. Now, if you've got something like a chesty cough, that's a cough that is a deep cough where you're coughing up mucus and all sorts of gunk. Then there are medicines out there specifically for that, and they contain something called guaifenesin. So what it does is loosens mucus and it encourages you to cough it out.
So better out than in.
Better out than in, definitely. We're going to take a look at one of the country's most popular big-name brands and compare it to a supermarket's own brand. So we've got a range of products here. You know, this one is £7, and it's 180 mils, and it contains 50 milligrams in every teaspoon of guaifenesin. Compare that to this one that is just over £2, and that contains 100 milligrams per teaspoon and is double the amount. They both contain the same main active ingredient, but they're pretty much going to do the same thing. Same ingredients then, but very different prices, and you might make an even bigger saving if you shop around. Next are those irritating tickly coughs.
What are the active ingredients in these ones?
So these medicines all contain cough suppressants, what we call antitussives, and they tend to be codeine-based medicines. So you might see something like Folcodine, you might see dextromethorphan as well. Both of them act to suppress a cough. Now that can be useful if your cough is particularly irritating, keeping you up at night, and you're not bringing up lots of stuff. So if you decide to go for a cough mixture, look out for the key ingredient you need to best serve your cough, and remember to check out the shop's own brand. That's coughs taken care of, but how about those winter colds? To ease your symptoms for less, the same rules apply. Many of us pay top price for the big name cold and flu brands. Okay, so interestingly, you guys have gone for Lemsip Max. It's a brand many people will trust. What a lot of people may not realise that there are cheaper versions available, which contains exactly the same ingredient. When switching to the cheaper cold remedies, these are the key ingredients to look out for: paracetamol and the decongestion phenylephrine. Add those to your shopping list, and remember the pharmacist is always there to help.
As well as the cold remedies, the other pills we're reaching for at this time of year are vitamins. Now, many say that we don't need supplements as long as we've got a good, healthy diet, but we still spent £350 million on them last year in the hope that they'll keep us well. So which are worth it, which are a waste of money, and which could end up doing us more harm than good? I'm a busy working mum, and I've been taking vitamins regularly for years. I'm convinced they keep me healthy and keep illness at bay. My dad, on the other hand, thinks I'm wrong. He hasn't taken a vitamin tablet in his life. So who's right, him or me? So Dad, stand by.
No, you don't take all these.
Not all at once, not all on the same day.
Word.
This is vitamin C, which I will take if I feel like I'm getting a cold. That's immune support.
Right.
And that houses vitamin A, vitamin D.
So don't you think all this is a load of nonsense?
Obviously not, otherwise I wouldn't have continued to do it for so many years.
I mean, you look perfectly fine.
Well, that's because I'm on the vitamins.
Yeah, but had you not taken them, you'd probably still look pretty fine.
Well, we don't know, do we? I've probably spent thousands of pounds over the years on supplements, including vitamin C, a go-to for many people at this time of year trying to stave off coughs and colds. But is it worth it when there are studies to suggest some don't work and others may even come at a cost to our health? I think it's time I found out. I'm bringing together a group of over 55s, and we're all going to try a little experiment. The over 55s buy more supplements than anyone else in the country. Like me, many of these tennis-playing pensioners in Eastbourne have been taking vitamins for decades.
I think over the last 40 years I must have taken about 60,000 vitamins.
I think if you want to have a healthy lifestyle, live as long as you can, give yourself as much opportunity of that as possible, take vitamins.
So, my vitamin veterans and I are going to go cold turkey and give up all our supplements for 6 weeks. Dietitian Elaine will examine blood samples from all of us to see if the vitamins in our bodies plummet to unhealthy levels as a result of cutting the supplements from our diets.
We're going to look at the vitamin status in their bloods. After a period of weeks, we're going to retest the bloods and see if there's been a difference to their vitamin status. It'd be very interesting to see the results.
I've dumped my daily vitamin stash, which costs me £300 a year. But as the test begins, I'm soon missing my vitamin boost.
Feeling a bit rough and under the weather, and it would be nice to have the reassurance of some vitamins.
But how are some of my group getting on? Marianne spends nearly 400 quid a year on her vitamins.
I must say this week I have felt very different. I'm much tireder, and I don't have the energy or my usual get up and go.
Kim relies on her supplements and spends just £25, but without them she's convinced her health is suffering.
My toes and neck and that are aching a little bit. I'm sort of feeling my age a bit. No, I don't know whether that's psychological or not, but that's the way I'm feeling.
Coming up, there's a shock in store for us vitamin veterans.
There's a case of double dosing going on there.
Unbelievable.
I follow doctor's orders to see off this year's flu bout.
Slight scratch.
Okay.
And stay tuned to find out my personal favourite remedy for a cough and sore throat that will only set you back as little as 11 pence a go. Welcome back to our cold and flu special. Earlier, I promised to reveal what I believe to be the ultimate affordable remedy for relieving a cough and sore throat. It's none other than one of the oldest treatments around, good old honey and lemon. Mix 2 teaspoons of the honey and a squeeze of lemon with some hot water. The honey works as a demulcent which coats the throat, soothing the irritation that causes coughing. There you have it, for as little as 11 pence a cup. In my opinion, Granny really did know best.
There's evidence to suggest that taking probiotics can reduce the duration of a cold by 2 days. If that's the case, where do we get our good bacteria and how much should we spend on it?
Probiotics are friendly live bacteria and we're all buying into their immune boosting benefits. We now spend 307 million on them a year, and that figure is rising. The world of probiotics is confusing enough to me as a medical professional. I can only imagine what it's like for the average consumer. We've got everything from yogurt drinks to the more expensive probiotic sachets and even probiotic tea. But I want to find out how they work and if they hold the answer to fighting off viruses like colds and flu.
In terms of microbiota, it's really important for programming the immune system, and it's important for programming the immune system in the gut. But what it can also do is it can program the immune system right across the body. If we think about that in the context of winter, or cold and flus, we can think that these beneficial bacteria might help program the immune system in the upper respiratory tract where we get all of these symptoms. So it might be in this context that giving a probiotic supplement might reduce these symptoms.
Dr. Lindsay Hall is a leading bacterial scientist at the Institute of Food Research. When you mention the word bacteria to people, generally speaking, they will think about germs and they will think about disease. But this is a completely different group entirely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And in fact, probiotics, we actually have another term for them. We call them beneficial bacteria.
Basically, having a healthy gut is important to being healthy in general, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're going to put some of the most popular daily probiotic products on the market under the microscope. They'll range from nearly £2 per day to just a few pence.
So what we've tried to do with these experiments is determine how many bacteria are in each of the products. Because we've got trillions and trillions of bacteria already in our gut, we need to have a really high dose of bacteria coming in so they can effectively colonise. People think of millions, but in the context of the microbiota, actually that doesn't mean very much. You need to be a trillionaire in the context of the microbiota.
As well as numbers, we're looking at two types of beneficial bacteria that might help regulate our immune system, lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. First up, can this daily probiotic supplement costing £1.83 a sachet contain enough of the good stuff to warrant the hefty price tag?
You can see that there's bifidobacteria present at 40 billion per gram.
That's 200 billion bacteria per serving. Anything in the billions is considered good. Next, a yogurt drink that can be taken daily at a cost of 29p per bottle.
We've got big numbers here, and we're getting the types of bacteria that we would expect.
Okay.
So the yogurt drink, about 100 million for that.
That's 10 billion bacteria per bottle. Not as many as a supplement, but still in the billions. Next up is a probiotic breakfast tea. It costs 22p per bag, 4 times more than your average regular cup of tea. But can it serve up a healthy helping of good bacteria?
To our surprise, we did actually find some bacteria in the probiotic tea, but the numbers are really low.
So you might as well just have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And finally, it's this year's so-called superfood, sauerkraut. The fermented cabbage we're led to believe is packed with good bacteria. The one we tested was homemade, costing 2p per serving. You can also buy it off the shelf.
We can see very clearly that sauerkraut, it's got some beneficial lactobacillus in it. However, we've tried to look for that bifidobacteria, but I think you can see that there's some, but there's hardly any.
It's not great, is it? What sort of numbers are you talking there?
20.
20?
Per mil. But
20?
still, yeah.
If you wanted 20 trillion, you'd have to take 1 trillion mils. That's a lot of sauerkraut.
Yeah.
The probiotic with the most bacteria and therefore the best chance of colonising your gut was the most expensive, the supplement. Followed by the yogurt drink, which for the price represents pretty good value for money. The sauerkraut was also shown to have some beneficial bacteria in the millions, but the results for the probiotic tea were low. Everyone thinks that if you take it, you're going to be healthier.
If you're healthy, that means that you've probably got the right balance of bugs, so maybe you don't need to take anything. But if your balance is off, if maybe you've had diarrhea or you've had a course of antibiotics, then maybe a supplementation might help.
So the science says if you've been sick or you have an underlying gut problem, you could benefit from reaching for a probiotic product. But it's the exciting future of probiotics that's paving the way for good health.
At the moment, it'd be a generic kind of probiotic product and everybody takes it. So maybe some people will feel better, maybe some people it won't make any difference. So what the idea in the future is that we will be able to give you like a personalised probiotic beneficial for your microbiota, and therefore we would have a better chance of actually improving your health or lessening your disease symptoms.
The big worry this time of year is flu, and the best way to avoid it is to get a flu jab. It's free on the NHS to the over 65s, pregnant women and some children. And if that doesn't apply to you, don't worry. It's now available at most high street chemists for under a tenner, and the cheapest we found was just a £5. Sounds to me like a price well worth paying. You're going to administer my flu jab.
You scared of needles?
I'm not looking at the needle.
Okay, no worries.
Kieran, I'll have to look away from you when you do this.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yep, okay. Go ahead, Kieran. 10 million people had the flu jab last year, but it's a first for me. Oh, there's a lot of it.
Slight scratch.
Okay.
Perfect, all done.
Is it done?
That's it.
Ah, that was all right.
There we go, you're all good.
Good to go.
You are,
For
sure.
a whole year?
For another year, yep.
Really?
Indeed, yes.
Will I experience any flu-like symptoms over the next couple of days?
No, slight redness and swelling at the site of injection, but that's it.
Is this the only way you can get the flu vaccine?
Actually, there is another version. It's a nasal spray that's offered freely on the NHS to 2, 3 and 4-year-olds and to school years 1, 2 and 3. It's being rolled out in phases, so every year more and more children should be getting it. So hopefully as time goes on, we'll see less and less flu around.
So prevention is key when it comes to staying healthy this winter. And many of us are turning to vitamins and supplements to boost our body's own defences. But do we need them, or are we just wasting our money? To find out, I and a group of vitamin junkies have ditched our daily supplements for 6 weeks, and the results of our blood tests are in. Will they show that our vitamin levels are depleted?
The big reveal is you are still in the normal range for blood results, and so your diets are adequate and they're providing the vitamins and minerals that you need.
I really am having problems with this though, because I know that my feet and my shoulders and my back and everything have really started to ache these last couple of weeks.
Within the snapshot and the bloods we've looked at, we've seen no differences.
Unbelievable. I'm surprised there's nothing. No, nothing.
So, after giving up our supplements for 6 weeks, we've seen no noticeable drop in our vitamin levels, and we've saved £89 by not taking them. It seems our diets alone have been giving us our daily dose, but perhaps more surprisingly are what the test results go on to reveal.
Initially, Marianne, your vitamin A levels were quite high, higher than sort of like what we would call normal range. And I think the reason for that was there was a case of double dosing going on there.
Double dosing occurs when you take too much of one vitamin for too long, and it can happen when you take a range of supplements.
Is that dangerous? What we do know about vitamin A is that excessive supplementation of vitamin A can increase the risk of osteoporosis, which is the weak bones. And then the other interesting thing to note, Marianne, when you stopped taking your supplements, your vitamin A levels came back down again into the normal range.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Oh, no, that is interesting. Yes. So I could cut out the A.
You're already getting vitamin A in your diet as well.
But if you take too much, it's obviously really not good for you.
No, more's not better. Interestingly, with vitamin A, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, we store that in our bodies, in our fat, so we don't get rid of that.
In fact, there are a group of fat-soluble vitamins that, if taken to excess, can damage your health. The recommended daily dose for vitamin A is 0.7 milligrams for men and 0.6 for women. But excessive amounts over a long period can increase your risk of osteoporosis. With vitamin D, more than 4 times the recommended daily dose of 10 micrograms can over time lead to kidney problems. And for vitamin E, too much in some cases causes headaches and fatigue. So even though we've been taking supplements to keep us healthy, it turns out too much could have the opposite effect. Next, there's a revelation for me.
So, Sian, when I had a look at your supplements, I had a closer look at your B vitamin. I saw you were double dosing. You're just creating expensive wee, really.
No harm done for me then, but it seems I could have saved myself the trouble and the money. Vitamin B and the popular vitamin C are water-soluble, and that means once your body reaches the optimum amount, the rest will be peed out. It turns out my dad was bang on when he told me not to take all those vitamins.
So he's right again.
Again! Oh, that's so frustrating. Well, of course he was. Dad always knows best. So should I stop taking all vitamins?
You don't need any at the moment, with one exception being vitamin D, and that goes for everybody. In the summer months, we're able to synthesize vitamin D through our skin, but unfortunately in the UK, in the autumn and winter, the sun's zenith angles are too low and we can no longer synthesize vitamin D. And it's very difficult to meet your vitamin D requirements through food and diet.
So the vitamin we should be taking is D. But there are some people that can benefit from other supplements. Pregnant and breastfeeding women, the elderly, and kids under 5 who can't always consume enough vitamins from their food alone. But as for us, we're now swapping all our vitamins and supplements for just vitamin D, saving our group of 4 a bumper £750 a year. We contacted the body that represent the supplement industry. They say food is the best source of vitamins, but supplements can help fill the nutritional gap for people that don't get the full requirement from their diet. But as an alternative to supplements, here are some of the best and cheapest vitamin-rich foods to supercharge your diet. Carrots are great for vitamin A. For B vitamins, try asparagus or spinach. And it's not just oranges, but kiwi fruits that are a great source of vitamin C. So, the next time you're in the supermarket, don't forget the fruit and veg aisle when you're shopping for your health. That's it for this week. Join us next week for Save Money, Good Health. Next time, I check out some money-saving solutions for snoring.
Oh, that's not nice.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to sleep with this in.
We reveal the true cost of teeth whitening on the cheap.
When I took these gum shields off, my gums had actually gone white and the pain in my mouth was horrendous.
Oh, here we go.
That is weird.
And I road test a pill that can help us hold on to our hair and our money. Not only does it slow hair loss, you might get more hair.
That's
as well.
Fingers crossed.